Hi, everybody. So I have Kelley back with us today, and she is a beautiful, my favorite astrologer. And she's obviously not in her normal spot right now. She's gone somewhere warm. So how you doing, Kelley?
Good. Yeah,
Good.
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 Yeah, it's nice to be in a tropical rain here today. So, yes, it's lovely. The moisture is great, and you know, I'm glad to be where I am. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So we're going to talk about all the energies and the energies that are coming because the full moon is coming. And I don't know what will be happening when this airs exactly, but right now we're in the middle of a lot of biblical type events. And some of them were definitely created, and some of them are not created. Some of them are coming purely from the elemental
The elemental.
cleansing.
Mhm.
And also, there's a push from the elemental cleansing to really get it done this time.
Oh,
Um, which is not necessarily the most beautiful feeling, especially if you've chosen to live in one of the places where that's happening. So, um, our, love goes out to everybody who's experiencing a hard time right now. And things will change rather quickly over the next few weeks, I think, that really help people recover from this. And it will be like a phoenix rising from the ashes type of deal that we have happen. But helping people in the meantime is important. So I'm excited to hear what the energies are bringing us because January feels extremely wild. So, what is happening, Kelley?
well, full moon is on the 13th, of course, depending on where you are. Let me show you the chart. So, that's it. Um, Part of what's so interesting is this exact dynamic with the sun in Capricorn and the moon in Cancer. And the moon rules Cancer, so it's particularly strong here. And I always think that this, uh, whether it's on the January or the June time, when the sun and moon have to do with Cancer and Capricorn, that it's a very strong dynamic. And this one has planets close. But first, let's just take a look at the Cancer Capricorn polarity and see what those two signs are suggesting. I'm using a lot of Monet today because he does a lot of paintings of water and has some with rock and water. So to me, Capricorn is an earth sign, and I always like the dynamic, the interplay of rock and water when I'm thinking about this polarity. So there's the Capricorn rock, and then there's the Cancer water. Now there are three different waters. There's the Cancer water, there's the Scorpio water, and the Pisces water. And in a way, the Cancer water is the most personal, like it's your water. And it's your there's a subjectivity, a taking things personally, which can be a problem sometimes, but it also is our life. We've got our life, and Cancer brings us home to our life. And it is about home and family. And it's a water signs are feeling signs. They're sensitive. Cancer, especially, is a very caring, nurturing sign. So it's illuminating that theme of taking care of each other at such a time. And it's nurturing. It likes to grow things. So it takes things in this personal way. How am I personally feeling? It's very contemplative in a way, and it doesn't react fast. Sometimes it's like I've got to chew on that. I've got to feel this out before I know where I'm at. And Cancer, some of the downsides which we're being faced with is attachments to the old. And just sometimes Cancer gets very sentimental, and keeping things for sentiment is not practical, especially from a Capricorn point of view, which is very much about being practical. Use what you have, keep what you can use. And it likes plans, and it likes structures, and it likes orders, like order in your life. And it also likes control. And this is where the water wears away the rock. And where we're seeing this interplay of, how did that archway in the rock happen? Here's another view of rocks and water by Monet. And I'm interested in this one because it's kind of like we're facing right now our attachments to some of the old ways that things have been.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these are getting swept away a lot by water, and some by fire and wind. So we are facing with this full moon some of our attachments that are blocking our moving forward into the new year, into the new era. And so what is blocking you? What are you experiencing? What is triggering you? And, this is coming back to ourselves to feel out where we're at. And, we always don't feel like we have time for that sometimes. So let's look at this dynamic here, where the moon is conjunct Mars. Now, we've been talking about Mars going retrograde. When Mars goes retrograde every other year, it goes retrograde for several months. And it started retrograde in Leo, and we saw that on the last new moon, but now it's back in Cancer. So we're back kind of going inside, feeling things out, feeling out what's nurturing, what's making us sad, where our attachments are, and what is going to nurture us. How do we take care of the people around us, our personal sphere?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, it's internalizing when a planet is retrograde. So it's really feeling out our internals, and again, looking at where we get attached, where we're uncomfortable with the changes happening and the pace at which they're happening. And then over here, the sun is moving toward Pluto, which is in Aquarius. It's not going back. Now, the last new moon, we had Mars opposite Pluto. It was getting close. Now, this is Mars in Cancer, which has a different feel, but we're moving into the new space, the new energy. And so right now we're looking at where we might be personally stuck or not open or receptive to the changes we need to make. Cancer doesn't like change in general. So where are you comfortable? Where are you not? Kind of how are you dealing with any discomfort and all the energies coming in and all the changes going on and all the distress you have about things going on? Friends, your loved ones, what changes everybody's going through. So this is a full moon that amplifies those feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
So
time to work through those right now.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And, attachments aren't necessarily bad, but when they're holding you back, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's like you try to put too much in your baggage or you need to clean things out that you're not using, that's been a general thing about Capricorn for a while now, all the years that Pluto was going through Capricorn, and we were, downsizing, and there was the minimalizing kind of
Mm-hmm.
trend. So we're shifting that, but we still have especially internal work to do in terms of, this is a lot of processing. It's hard to take a lot of what's going on. So just take your time with that, take care of yourself. And you've been saying that for quite a while, honey.
Mhm. Yeah, we have not been taught to go inside.
Mm,
And it is the most important thing is
yeah,
to go inside and get to know who you are
yeah,
and how you want to live your life and, what your gifts are, all the stuff, and letting go of the programming from the outside.
yes.
So, this is a big opportunity to do that. And we're about to go into, like, we're in the process of big change. And big change doesn't always feel pretty, doesn't always feel nice. And the Cancer part of that is going to hit the empathy parts of us.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and the Capricorn is going to say, I know it's hard, but we have to move through it to get to the other side. And
Yes.
we have to allow for these energies that have been really hard on humanity to
Mm,
basically be purged away. So we're purging and the earth is purging
yeah.
and the collective is purging right now. And that's part of what's happening.
Yes. And this is, the cleaning your inner closets and taking care of yourself, being gentle, being kind, just yes, take your time as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a major theme. And we've got to be practical in these times too.
Yeah.
So let's take another look at some of the interplay between the planets. So here we have one of our favorite Kuiper Belt objects, Salacia, the mermaid who makes the sunlight sparkle on the sea. And she's in Aries, which is the newness, the new, watching when you watch the sparkles, one doesn't happen in the same place. It's always the sparkles are moving around. And this is part of the plasma light coming in from a different dimension, from higher consciousness, from galactic energy field. And it's in a dynamic with the planet Mercury that is the way we're thinking about things. Mercury in Capricorn is very practical. But Selassie is saying there are new ways of doing things. We don't have to do it the old way, better not do it the old way. Let's light up a new way of doing this. And especially when we get to the rebuilding phase of a lot of, kind of what's going on these days. And the sun and the moon are not too close, but I really wanted to point this out. This is Chiron, and Chiron is moving forward in terms of healing, in terms of critical moments. And this full moon is coming out of a dynamic with Chiron that is going to continue to play out. We've got a very strong Chiron dynamic coming up in April, but it's again focusing on new ways, the new path, not going with the old path, which is in many cases been blocked. Trees are down, or the floods have happened, or the fires have destroyed what was there before. So we are finding a new path. And these planets are suggesting that with a kind of hopefulness, a kind of this could be a good thing kind of energy, which is Aries. Aries and Cancer and Cap, they're three totally different signs, but they all take the initiative. And the Chiron and the Selassie are suggesting totally new initiatives. Like, what ideas are you coming up with to deal what's going on in your life?
Mhm.
And you can't listen to anybody else exactly. Like, this is the Cancer. It's got to come from inside you. How are you feeling about it? What makes sense to you to be doing? So it's like carving from the inside out in a way. Um,
Mhm.
letting a seed be nurtured from the inside. So then we have another kind of couple of big things going on. Um, just one more reminder about Mercury. It is practical. Think practical. You use your common sense, which a lot of people don't have seemingly these days. So let's look at this one. Now this is, I pointed out here the nodes of the moon, which we call the dragon head and the dragon tail. Now these have just changed sign. They stay in a sign for about a year and a half. We have eclipses going on where these points are active. So the energy of the eclipses is in the process of changing its themes for the next year and a half. And the North Node is the leading edge of our collective consciousness. It's been in Aries for a year and a half. So we've had more of this, take the new path, go a new way. And we still have some of that going on and lit up inside us. But this is the North Node, which is the leading edge of collective consciousness. What is the positive way to follow for growth? And it's in Pisces, which is another water sign. This is working very nicely with the Cancer moon and the Capricorn moon, but especially because it's water, it's adding to the compassion and the sensitivity. You know, Pisces is like we're all in the same ocean. We're all drops of the sea. So this is kind of making these waves of compassion bigger from some of the stuff going on that really generates this feeling, and that we're all in this together. And Neptune is right there, which brings up the spiritual vibrations, which we are being asked to heighten our vibrational capacity, heighten our frequencies as we are feeling this wash of light waves come through. And it certainly feels like they're coming through in a fairly intensified way, and they're washing us clean. So we're feeling that from the spiritual impulses that are coming through here with Neptune. That's everyone feels these energies, and everyone is being asked to lift that sadness to something like caring, like nurturing, the giving up your attachments and letting go, which is so necessary, can lead to a kind of hopefulness that there is a new way. So working with your emotions in that kind of way can be very helpful. So you're not pulled down in the undertow of the waves going out. I've been watching some pretty strong waves come in where I am, and they are very strong waves. There's a strong surge going on here, and they'll come in and then they'll hit the shore, and there's an incline on the sand, so that it's almost like the wave turns around on itself and starts going back out, and you can see the outgoing wave, and it comes to an incoming wave. They hit each other and crash in foam, almost like a zipper along the wave. They unzip something, and then you can see the outgoing wave continuing until it hits the next incoming wave, and there's another, kind of zipper opening, and then the outgoing wave kind of loses its steam, and the incoming waves kind of, are more in taking over kind of thing. So it's really interesting to watch that and kind of feel the energy of that, and also watching the huge waves come from quite far away, and they're coming in a huge way where it's like Neptune's riding his chariot with the white horses of the sea foam carrying him toward the shore. And from a deep place that's evoking some deep, deep feelings in us. So there's something huge collective going on. And if we can take that wave metaphor, into our own lives, it just does feel very powerful. The South Node is in Virgo, which is the sign most tuned in to our body as our temple of the spirit, as our instrument, of living on this earth. So we're feeling how nature is informing us, how our bodies are informing us. So this is part of the trend for the next year and a half, and bringing us back to a practical response to the situation in the moment, and to set our priorities. Like if you have to evacuate, why are you taking paintings down from the wall? What do you really need to take with you? And what is your priority?
Mhm.
So that's big questions that come from the intelligence of the gut, from our bodies tuning in to how the earth is changing and calibrating with that. So this is the new the new eclipse energy, the new leading edge of collective consciousness, which is kind of, echoing the water and earth energy of this full moon. So this is a beautiful full moon for this energy to be introduced, for the nodes of the moon to change. And we aren't having an eclipse season yet, but we will be in March, which is even going to be wilder than January, I think, honey.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it will be wild, but there will be a lot more good things that we're seeing. So that will feel wild to a lot of people, but I feel like we'll be dominoing the good stuff in, and there will still be a lot of recovery going on in March, but the wildness will just feel kind of more like awe and
Ah.
confusion, like, wow, I didn't know that existed. Or, the collective will be more in like, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, we can do that. I can be myself. Like, that kind of thing. I feel like it's going to be a big change for humanity.
Mm.
But for us in general, I feel like we're going to be really excited and we're going to know a lot of what we want to do by March. But January feels like the chaos month to me. The big fall of the old world.
Oh,
And, in March, we may be even starting to rebuild some things.
yes. Well, part of this Cancer-Capricorn can involve some resistance, right? Because we're resisting the change. So
Mhm.
we've got to get over that. But, what you were just saying is, part of it is we're still having Jupiter in Gemini, and it's retrograde also. And it's asking us to be open-minded to new possibilities and options,
Mhm.
to be open-minded, period, to what's going on, and again, not resist, not turn your head. And then this has been going on for a while, and we've had Saturn over here saying, okay, how are you dealing with the energy of the collective? How are you defining where you're at with it all, and what you're going to take as options that are meaningful to you, beneficial to you? And how are you feeling? Now we've got this other combination here in Pisces with Venus that also adds to this empathy and this compassion for people who are going through the worst of things at the moment. And Saturn is, well, what are you going to do about it? Can you do something about it? Or sending prayers is doing something about it. You don't need to feel helpless, it's like the energy that you're sending is so effective. We don't even realize how effective. And when we're talking about water, we've got a lot of water with the Pisces, with the Cancer, and then we've got one of the aspects of the divine feminine in Scorpio, which is an alchemical, it's like waterfall. It's like the deepest of the waters. And so we're doing a lot of emotional work, and we have been hearing more and more about the intelligence of water. And this is part of what we're working on. We're getting more in touch, excuse me, with our own personal water intelligence,
Yeah.
a little salt in and you'll get more vitality and inspiration. But there's more of this water intelligence within ourselves that we can be tuning into also with this energy coming along here.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's I just wanted to focus on some of the most important things so that we're not overloaded with too much information here. I mean, there's tons of information in any chart we look at, but I wanted to focus on these main themes. And if we're kind of summarizing some of that, we're getting the earth and the water. We're getting this inner work that we're doing, and it's very gentle, caring, welcoming work. Welcoming in the sense of 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 welcoming and inviting in and being receptive to what is in our best interests. Cancer sometimes has a crab shell around it that doesn't let things in. It goes back into its hole. A crab does often enough. And
Yeah.
true nature of Cancer is growth. And growth, it means change. It's a new phase. It's like, what is in my best interest? What is going to nurture me? You need to eat. You need to feed yourself. So just these simple things and paying special attention to them, and taking care of what is yours to take care of, which can also mean sending prayers around the world. So
Yes. Yeah.
this is the water, earth coming together to help us reshape the energy field. Water can take the shape of our thoughts. And if we're feeding our own inner waters with negative thinking, we're going to be in a bad mood, which Cancer can be very moody, but it can change. And we need to recognize with Cancer that things just don't stay the same. So even if you're in a bad mood, that doesn't mean that you're going to be in a mad mood forever. It doesn't mean things are going to be this bad forever. And to kind of allow and be receptive to what's in your best interest for changing your life, even in small ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's all about your vibration. So if you're feeling really intensely about something, do your inner work with it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be more and more in flow, which is also what water is that it flows and changes.
Yes.
And the crab is protecting itself sometimes in the water, but it also knows how to flow if it allows itself to. So if you don't hang on to everything, so, there's a lot of people that are either being flooded or they're having a fire right now, and they may not have a home to go back to when that happens. And does that mean that they're going to have a bad time? Like, it could be a few weeks of rough time, but it will eventually evolve into something else. And maybe the house that they never dreamed they could have is what comes out of that. And maybe it's, more nature comes into these areas that have had these disasters happen. But a lot of it is the clearing of energy out of those areas, and they will rise like the phoenix, they will become beautiful again. And it's part of putting them back to the beautiful energy that they maybe had before some things moved into that area and created a lot of polarized, icky energy. So just thinking about that, and the people that are really amazing and on a higher timeline that are in those areas, they're going to be the ones that probably rebuild them. And they're going to recreate what it looks like. It's going to be completely different than what we've seen in the past.
Well, this is the new way. And, you know, one of the things about Capricorn is it's about like, it's about traditional peoples that have known how to live in harmony with the earth forever. So their cultures are still going. We've gotten a bit away from that. So the realignment with nature is so important. And, you know, another thing about Neptune is it's the planet of the big dream, capital B, capital D. Like, what are we all imagining and dreaming? Now, Neptune's going to be going into Aries, which is the newness at the end of March. So our dream is changing. And if it's changing out of a level of disaster, a level of, you know, the wave pulling sandcastles off the beach, you know, then that's the way it is. So something like that, something like what is our collective dream? And, you know, in this time, there's waves of compassion, you know, kind of coming through, and that's beautiful. And that's working with these feelings and feeling the compassion override the discouragement, the old dreams, you know, the popping of our bubbles of how it used to be. Yeah, that's not easy. This is not an easy time. And with Saturn and Venus together, there's emotional work to do, you know, emotional washing through, keeping that frequency, like it's all gonna come out better than it was before. And, you know, when I think about the big dream, I so remember John Lennon's song, you know, Imagine, you know, that we all can be dreamers of the new what world or society that we're going to be building on the, you know, kind of cleaned up foundation of the old.
Yeah, and it's going to be so much different than it was. So remembering that, hanging on to the beautiful ideas that come as a download, and just kind of nurturing those and letting go and working through the things that you've been hanging on to in your life.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is relationships that maybe no longer really serve. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Well, our relationships are certainly changing and have been in the last year and a half. You know, and there's not a lot of mental energy in this chart except for Jupiter, which is wisdom at best. It can be two minds at worst. And we have Pluto in Aquarius, which connects us to the higher mind. So that's our mental neurons are changing, you know, they're lighting up, where new neural pathways are being forged. And that's part of what's been going on with the Aries energy, largely in the last couple of years, but increasingly. And do you remember the conversation? I forget when I mentioned Manwe. Manwe is in the Tolkien prehistory of Middle Earth and was the archangel closest to the mind of the creator. And it just went into Aries within the last couple of years, helping to recreate the original blueprint, so to speak, the original vision of the creator. And that is what we are called to do in this rebuilding. How can we make our world more beautiful?
Right. And we are going back to the original blueprint of humanity and the body, and, you know, the original intention for humanity. So everything is going back to fifth density and above. And the third and the fourth density will go, There will be a lot of people that ascend without their body. And that's something that's very volatile for a lot of people as well. So
Mhm.
just remembering, because the Cancer part of us would want to hang on
Yeah.
and not trust that they're going to be absolutely fine and maybe feel better than ever.
Yeah.
And, letting go and knowing that we will be okay and so will they is important, I think, right now.
Yes. Whatever's going on in the moment, whatever is arising from this moment. Um, there's a lot of earth as well. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Uranus, the change agent, which is in a beautiful, strong harmony with the sun and the moon on this full moon at 23 Taurus. And this is one of the planets that's changing our world, how we're living on our world, how we're rooting into our world. It's, about a lot of earthquake. It's about the changing of the earth herself. And this, like you said, the elementals are really taking this opportunity, however it's been created, to clear the energy and allow the new lifestyles even
Mhm.
to be emerging. And a 23, 23, 23, that's a very strong positive influence here, that this moon is saying whatever's going on is leading us to the change that we need to make.
Mhm.
Cancer is a lot about need. We need these changes. So, yeah.
Yeah, we do. Humanity is one of the youngest soul groups, and it is the youngest soul group in the universe. There are younger souls, but they're not in a big group. And it's
Yeah.
time for humanity to graduate and go back to what we were intended to be, which is fifth density, and have a totally different kind of experience.
Yeah.
So, that in order for that to happen, we have to let go of the old stuff. So I think this
Yeah.
is beautiful and I think it helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's find a spiritual anchor, so to speak. And I wanted to share one more picture of
Okay.
rock and water, which is, I'm right around the corner. This is where those big waves were coming in. And this is called Makua Beach by the locals, which means the beach of the elders.
Mm,
So it reminds us of that traditional peoples who know how to live right, and in right relation to the elements, and know how to manage the waters, you know, rather than diving in and getting swept out in them. You know,
right.
you navigate with nature. You paddle with the water, not against the flow.
Hmm. Yeah. We're learning a lot right now. And the biggest thing I think is the going within and really nurturing yourself right now. So
Yes,
I think it's beautiful
absolutely.
that that illustrates that.
Yes, that's the full moon in Cancer, and that is the essential bottom line there. Hmm.
Beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much, Kelley. I'm going to have Kelley's information below, and she does take individual appointments. So just know that she's got writing out there. She's got a website. Kelley's got a lot of stuff going on. And I'm glad that you're able to travel right now, too, and that you're out of the cold.
Yes, yes, me too. Well, I will be going back home, you know, in in a couple of weeks. So,
Mm, yeah.
um, but I may see you. I don't know. I may see you one more time, from here. No, I won't. No, I won't.
No. Okay.
No, no, I forget. Yeah. Yeah. The full moon's on the 13th. And then we've got, then when we have the next new moon, it's in Aquarius. So it really is going to change the feel of things,
Mhm.
more toward the new energy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when it will really flow into the new. And these next couple of weeks are pretty big weeks. Like, I made a hair appointment on the day, and this is just a funny thing. I made a hair appointment on the day of inauguration, and I was like, ooh, is that going to work? I wonder what's going to happen. But I
I
did
did
it anyway
too.
because I'm just going to go with it, right? So we'll see.
I made an appointment that day, but partly my travels changed it and I made it for later. So, but
Perfect.
yeah, whatever. I mean, such global shift. And I think the next new moon that's the whole moon cycle is going to be much more about the larger global picture. Not
Yeah.
to say that it isn't now. And I'm not speaking just to Americans for sure. There's floods and all kinds of stuff going on everywhere.
Hmm.
So we are all in this together and let's take care of each other, even just in keeping our vibration as high and positive as we can. That really, really helps. That radiating of positivity and love energy and compassion and just go there. Go there. And for
Yes,
yourself too. Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And I hope you have a beautiful day.
Take care.
Bye.